So we start a firework of knowledge and inspiration at this Austrian Tourism Days 21. So when we talk about innovation, then of course the Austrian National Tourism Office is always a very important partner. So there is a network organization which is working on all these levels, and there will be new standards, and tourism should be more sustainable, more digital, more modern. So neta. Neta is a very important word, and a very important abbreviation, and we will present to you projects and innovation which are based on that neta, like the next project, and this is data journalism. So we are talking about automatic texting in tourism, and we will show you how you can find texts and texting based on a lot of data. So we have representatives of the tourism who are real pioneers in this aspect, and then we will have a discussion round. We will look into a workshop, and of course you can also join in this discussion. So please be very active. So we have a colleague from Anto who worked in the partner management, and since 2020 she is in this team neta, and she loves data management and automatization texting, and I'm sure that she will of course join. Thank you, Ina. Thanks a lot. Also a very healthy welcome from our side, from data journalism, automatic texting in journalism. And I think we have very interesting guests. What does it mean, automatic texting, and where is it used already? How can you use this also in tourism, and where is the potential, but where are also the challenges in this automatic texting? In order to answer all these questions, I am happy to welcome my first guest in the Wien, Katharina Schell. She is working at Austria Press Agency. She is responsible for digital and innovative texting. Katja, 2 years ago, APA has started its new product, Automated Content, and we are also now developing use cases for this subject. Katja, maybe you explain what is automated texting, automatic content, and how you use this already in your newspaper. What does that mean? Well, I brought a few things with me which could show you. As you said already, we started 2 years ago, and well, we started 2019. We call it automatic journalism. This is a little difference to automatic texting, because we want to make high-value texts. So this is a data cemetery. This is a data file which I have copied for this presentation. This is just the result of one election in Vienna. Well, this is the result of the election in the first district in Vienna. There is a lot of content. And these are all things which are mentioned when we talk about the result of an election. And then we have a text like that, for example, election of in the first district in Vienna. And then we have quite a short report, what happened. And then they asked me, do you really have so much time in the evening of the election to write such a big text? And I said, no, I did this before. And this text was automatic automatically established and made after receiving the result. And this is automated journalism. How does that work? Well, this is a cooperation of so-called artificial intelligence and the human brain. Well, here we have gaps in the text, which were, of course, which had to be filled by journalists. They must know what can happen in an election and what is written in the data, so that I can also describe what could happen. So journalists working in this field, they write the texts in advance, and the machine then composes the text as it is reflected in the data. But you have to write good text. You have to know what could happen during an election, that there must not be a real evident winner, for example. So, but you have to know what can be in the data. So, of course, you have to know your special knowledge. You must be able to read this data, and this is also important. Here, AI is helping you, but you have to know grammar, of course, in order to establish this text. You must know the times and the cases, the grammatical cases. And this is only an example. This is a gap text. This is not very interesting, but you have to work in detail. This is very important with elections, for example, but we also work with other data. So whenever you have a data file, you can cooperate with the machine. The machine can, of course, process a lot of data, and the human being can process this. Well, of course, a human being would not be able to write 2,000 texts about an election. And so it's good to use the strengths and the weaknesses of both parties. Here you see what the result, which can be used for different platforms. You can use this online. You can also combine this with graphics, with mobile storytelling. Here you see also how I call it the digital multi-purpose content. The machine does not mind if they use, if they write this text for a newsletter or a content for something else. You just have to tell the machine why they should make this content.
And what is important for us, it offers scalability. So if you have all the data, you can write lots of stories. People journalists wouldn't have time for. And for tourism, this is can also be interesting. You might ask, well, what do elections have to do with tourism? For a year, we have been thinking of touristic use cases for this technology, for this human and machine environment. So we have worked on this extensively already, and we started by defining the demands, the content, and of course we always need to move towards the users. And in the media field, we always think, where are the users, on which platforms, on Instagram, or maybe they read a print newspaper at home. So where are they? Where are the tourists? Do they want to go on a trip, embark on a trip? Are they coming back? Are they planning a trip? Are they guests? Are they advertisers, and so on? So we have conducted quite some work already. Also the question, what platform are we working for? Which channel? And also the question of versions, content. Automatization is something that is based on language, so we need people who are able to write in a certain language. And then what are concrete data that provide information for texts on tourism? and there are also environmental data, for example, how much snow there is, the temperatures of lakes, the quality, the water quality of lakes, and then everything that has to do with events, appointments, hotels, but also destinations, hiking experience, mobility is mobility data. So what is the best way to get to my destination? And how can I use all those numbers and data as far as overnight stays statistics are concerned, when I regularly have to work on these data and write reports on them? So maybe there could be some help from this system where a text gets configured ahead. So what about the time? And an example, let's say an example is an app providing information to travelers and vacationers. So this is a hotel for hikers. There are many people who want to embark on difficult hikes, mountain hikes. But I also have guests that like smaller, easier hikes. So I have data on the difficulty of a certain hike, the weather conditions, and so on. But I would have to sit down every day and write this up. And if the weather changes or will be bad, I have to offer a certain alternative program. So this might be something that could be done by artificial intelligence. It's a complex task to put in all this data and meet the expectations of a certain target group. So maybe one possible use case, and then we will see what we can come up with in an explorative process. And of course, we are very much interested in this process, which makes it so interesting and exciting to us. Thank you so much, Katja, for this presentation. One question to you. When you presented this project for the first time to me, you were so enthusiastic about it. What drives you and why are you so passionate about this? Well, my passion has to do with the reason why I became a journalist. I wanted to tell stories which are based on facts. And this project is just doing this. It gives me the opportunity to tell stories based on facts which I wouldn't be able to tell by myself because of lack of time. And I wouldn't be able to do this without the support of machines. Thank you so much. And now I would like to start our panel discussion on automized texts. And I would like to welcome Patrick Ratheiser, who is CEO of Leftshift 1. He's responsible for digital development, and I would like to welcome Martin Reichhart, who works for SLTG. Thank you for being here with us today. And now, dear audience, I would also ask you to pose your questions via the chat. Martin, a pilot project which will be implemented in Salzburg in the near future is about automized answering of email inquiries. Could you talk about this project and what are the goals of your project? This use case was actually developed during a meeting of tourist organizations in Salzburg and Leftshift 1, and the question was, what is the potential of artificial intelligence in our day-to-day tourism practice? We had to analyze complex processes and find optimizations for processes. At the same time, we collected data. Then the question was, where are their data? How can we collect them and support the process? And with the help of artificial intelligence, we can provide a certain support. We conducted workshops together with Leftshift 1, where we worked out certain use cases where email requests should be answered in a partly automized process. Thank you. Martin, Patrick, you have already gathered information within a software for the tourist sector. How can this software be used? Well, how did we start on this project? We know that in tourism that there is a lack of qualified workforce. And of course, there are lots of emails from the guests, from the customers, and this is not only the case not only in Salzburg but everywhere. And our goal was that there should be an interaction between people, but a support by machines which help to analyze data and which help in processes which can be automized. We developed an operating system for AI. It's a module concept, very close to operating systems for smartphones, like, for example, Android, where you have different apps. And we are providing on this operating platform different modules of AI. The question is, what can AI do? Then we identify possible use cases, and we develop small prototypes where within a couple of days, we can develop small solutions that can support our customers. And this is how the entire project came into being. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Katrin, Patrick, and Martin, what are you planning for the future in the field of automized texting and text creation? We have a very good basis in Salzburg with our knowledge base, and building on this, we created the project Tabea. Tabea is not a static solution, but it is something that's being developed further and further. We are doing MVP. We have a prototype which we continuously develop, so solutions are never static in our field. Patrick? Yes, we have a prototype. Nothing is static. The project is not static, like everything in tourism. There are so many fields where AI can support the workforce and staff in the tourist sector, maybe in writing offers, sending offers, and also the automation of bookings. So this will help make more time for the employees to spend for the customers again. So there are so many things we can create in order to support the staff, so the staff has more time for the customer again. Thank you very much. One last question. What kind of learnings can you report about, and what are the first steps of for your partners if they would like to work with you? What the general message I have: please take care of your data. Be sure that you have a clean database. Don't throw away data. You will be grateful for any data set you have in the future, and this is not going to change anytime. Patrick, in general, if you want to remain competitive, you will have to deal with the topic of data. You need to know where your data are. We also offer data privacy. It is possible to have data in one's own infrastructure. You don't have to use the cloud. And my advice would be to start with small steps, to implement first steps in order to save time, and later on you can go any further. The tools are there, we can offer them to you, and this is the message I would like to convey to you. Thank you very much, Martin. What two keywords? Data quality, a very important topic, and just getting started. Define use cases, see where you would like to get some support, and build on that. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Please take care of your data, make small steps, and this is already the end of our discussion. Just one more question from the chat. The first question is for Katja. How much time and expense is necessary for this model of automized text creation? Well, I think it depends on you.
Well, of course you can improve the projects all the time, but the first expenses are quite high. Because what I said already, you need certain skills, you need people who know this, who are journalists, who have a feeling for data, who have a feeling for writing. And then you need also people who know the software. Well, you need a few weeks, and then, of course, you make nice stories out of this data. What is the task? Thanks a lot for this very interesting stories, for these interesting parts, and also thanks to the audience for these active contributions. And I wish you good, nice continuation. So thanks a lot. Well, automated content is not only a very interesting subject, but it is also important for the future, and we should deal with it. And another future subject which is important for this Austrian Tourism Days is Austria Cares. This is the initiative of the Austrian National Offices for Tourism, and we would like to discuss how a safe holiday is possible in Austria. So we will continue in a quarter of an hour. So I'm happy to welcome you back for the days of the Austrian tourism.